Hey everyone, imagine a world where stone tools are the cutting-edge technology. That's exactly what life was like in the Stone Age. From the earliest days of humanity, stone artifacts have outlasted the ages and give us a glimpse into our ancient past. The term Stone Age was actually coined in the late 19th century by Danish scholar Christian J. Thomsen. He developed what's known as the three-age system, a way to categorize history into three periods: the Stone Age, Bronze Age, and Iron Age. Thomsen came up with this idea when he noticed a pattern at archaeological sites. The oldest layers contained stone tools, followed by bronze objects, and finally iron ones. This suggested that metalworking developed after stone tools. Now, while the three-age system has its critics, some think it's too focused on technology, and others point out that it doesn't apply well outside Europe. It's still a widely used framework. It's not perfect, but it helps us get a sense of how human technology evolved over time. So, what exactly is the Stone Age? It's the period from when humans first started making stone tools to when they started using bronze. Because it's all about technology, the length of the Stone Age varies in different parts of the world. In Africa, it began around 2.5 million years ago and ended roughly in 3300 BCE in the Near East when the Bronze Age began. There's even some debate that the start date could be pushed further back because some animals, like bonobos, can also use and create simple stone tools. However, early humans were far more skilled in making these tools, showing greater cognitive abilities and motor skills. In fact, some researchers claim that stone tools might have originated as far back as 3.4 million years ago, though this is still debated due to conflicting evidence. And the Stone Age is divided into three main periods. First up, the Paleolithic or Old Stone Age. This period stretches from the first stone tools about 2.5 million years ago to the end of the last ice age, around 9600 BCE. Fossils and tools from this time show a gradual improvement in technology. The earliest tools, known as the Odowan industry, were simple choppers and flakes, but by 1.7 million years ago, more advanced tools like Acheulean hand axes began to appear. Fast forward to about 40,000 years ago, and we see a boom in tool variety along with the first signs of art, cave paintings, personal ornaments, and sculptures. Then there's the Mesolithic or Middle Stone Age, which started around 9600 BCE after the last ice age ended and lasted until the development of agriculture. The timeline for this period is tricky because farming began at different times across different regions. For example, agriculture appeared in Southeast Europe around 7000 BCE, in Central Europe by 5500 BCE, and in Northern Europe by 4000 BCE. The timing wasn't the same everywhere, and some areas, like the Near East, didn't even have a Mesolithic period because agriculture started almost immediately after the Ice Age ended. During the Mesolithic, the Earth went through massive changes. As the planet warmed and the ice sheets melted, rising sea levels reshaped the continents. Islands like Japan and Tasmania separated from the mainland, and North America became divided from Asia by the Bering Strait. By around 5000 BCE, the world map looked a lot like it does today. And now let's dive into the Neolithic or New Stone Age. This era began when farming took root in different parts of the world. It started around 9000 BCE in the Near East, about 7000 BCE in Southeast Europe, 6000 BCE in East Asia, and later in other regions. This period was marked by the rise of agriculture, with people cultivating cereals and domesticating animals. This shift was so significant that, in the 1940s, an archaeologist named Gordon Childe coined the term Neolithic Revolution. But today, we know that the change was more gradual than revolutionary, unfolding over time rather than happening overnight. With agriculture, human society saw a major shift. People began clearing forests to grow crops, cultivating root vegetables and cereals they could store for long periods, and developing new farming technologies like plows and irrigation systems. The abundance of food allowed populations to grow, and villages slowly evolved into towns, eventually forming the first cities. As communities grew larger, they became more socially and politically complex, setting the stage for civilizations. Towards the end of the Neolithic era, we see the introduction of copper metallurgy, signaling the transition to the Bronze Age. This period is sometimes called the Chalcolithic or Neolithic era. Now, even though we call it the Stone Age, not everything was made from stone. Tools and weapons were also crafted from materials like antler, bone, leather, and wood. Unfortunately, these organic materials didn't last long because they easily decayed, while stone tools stood the test of time. That's why archaeologists find far more stone artifacts than anything else. Under certain rare conditions, like freezing temperatures or extreme dryness, organic remains do survive, like the well-preserved woolly mammoths and woolly rhinos found in Siberia. Clay, on the other hand, was a major part of Stone Age life and has survived in abundance. It was easy to mold and, once baked, would harden into durable pottery. That's why pottery was independently invented in many places at different times. The oldest pottery fragments were discovered at the Odai Yamamoto site in Japan, dating back about 16,500 years ago. By around 13,000 years ago, the Jomon people of Japan were crafting beautifully decorated clay pots, primarily for cooking and food storage. As we enter the early Neolithic, around 8000 BCE, specialized ovens were being used in the Near East to parch grains and bake bread. This innovation allowed people to control fire more effectively and achieve higher temperatures. These ovens also paved the way for more advanced pottery techniques. Around the same time, people in South America were developing their own pottery technologies, showing how widespread this innovation was becoming. But as we approach the end of the Stone Age, we see the rise of bronze metallurgy, which brought a whole new era. Bronze, a combination of copper and tin, was much harder than copper alone. It had better casting properties and a lower melting point, making it ideal for crafting tools and weapons. Bronze weapons were stronger and more durable than anything made from copper, and soon, stone tools began to fall out of use, marking the end of the Stone Age.